Hi, everyone, and welcome back to The Empowered Patient. Today, we're going to do something a little bit differently. So, we've been going through discussions based on your questions, and more recently, I've been sharing more about my journey through adrenal fatigue and my passion, which is helping women and men. Primarily, I work with women, but some men, on overcoming this chronic exhaustion and burnout. And if it's been happening for a long time, navigating what's going on there. As I shared in a recent post, oftentimes we're told you just need to reduce stress, but that's not always readily actionable for us. We're not really sure how to do that. It sounds great, reducing stress. Yes, I feel very stressed all of the time, or overwhelmed, or exhausted. But what does that look like? And what are some tools or resources that can help me begin that process? So, today, what I wanted to do is share one of those tools and resources with you. And that resource is deep or diaphragmatic breathing. So, the diaphragm is our muscle of respiration. And just like any other muscle, if we're not stretching or expanding it regularly, it can tighten in on us. And for many of us, we're not regularly practicing a breath practice unless you attend yoga classes or meditation classes. But in general, most people aren't taught how to breathe. It's just something that our bodies do automatically. And thank goodness it's not one more thing that we have to think about. However, if our stress response system is chronically on, oftentimes people find that they are breathing from the chest and their breath tends to be short, shallow, and staggered. So maybe more like, and you can hear the difference there between a deep breath, which is so oftentimes, if our daily pace is really fast and our mind is going really fast, our breath is trying to keep up with that pace. But something we can do to consciously control that pace and slow it down is to work from the breath inward to the more subtle things like the pacing of our thoughts. It's something that's tangible. It's always with us. It doesn't cost anything. It only takes a couple of minutes. And I don't remember where this statistic came from, but I'm remembering a statistic that when our stress response system is activated, let's say we just had to slam on the brakes in the car and we almost rear-ended someone, our heart rate is up, we're maybe sweating, holding our breath, tense muscles. It only takes about 3 minutes of deep breathing to completely transition the body back into that parasympathetic rest and digest state. So our autonomic nervous system has two primary states: the fight or flight system, where the stress response is on, which is the sympathetic nervous system branch. And then we've got the opposite, the rest, the digest, the restorative sort of position of our nervous system. And breathing deeply can help activate the parasympathetic nervous system. And that becomes so important in today's world when we're so on. And our days tend to be more and more jam-packed with things, and our minds are going rapid pace. And I think in the age of transitioning to virtual in a lot of ways has exacerbated that, because we can have a million tabs open and we want things like right now, like 2 seconds ago, keep it coming. So to sort of back away from that and create some space from that and allow our whole body to exhale, I wanted to share just a simple breathing practice with you today. And you can spend 30 seconds doing it. I would encourage you to spend 3 minutes and build from there. But do what you can. Do what feels in alignment and realistic for you. I don't want it to be another stressor in your life. So do something that feels totally doable. Okay, so let's get to the practice. So first, what I would love for you to do is just find a space that's quiet, that's free from distractions. And ideally, You're actually sitting either on the edge of your bed or sitting on a chair. Or if you're feeling really tired and it feels really good to lie down, go ahead and lie down on a couch or on your bed. It can actually be really helpful to lie down when you're first practicing diaphragmatic breathing. So if you're sitting in a chair, you're sitting upright, make sure your feet are planted firmly on the ground. And if you're lying in your bed, just notice if you need to do something to make your body feel a little more comfortable. Maybe slide a pillow or a blanket underneath your knees to really allow your low back to settle into the space beneath you, and just allow the bed or the space underneath you to fully receive the weight of your body. Release the weight and let it really sink and drop in. And now just take a moment to scan through your body and notice if there's any place that you're holding tension. A common place for a lot of people is the shoulders. They might be lifting up or hunched up. So just let them gently roll back and down. And another common place to hold tension is the jaw. So let the teeth part, let the jaw soften, let the tongue just rest in the mouth. And take a nice deep exhale. And as you're settling in, what I would love for you to do is place one hand over your chest and place one hand on the low belly. The reason that we're doing this is just to get a little curious and exploratory about where we feel our breath most. So as you take a breath in, just begin to notice, where do you feel the torso fill up with air first? Do you feel it fill up with air in the low belly? Do you feel it mostly in the chest as it rises on the inhale? And then pay attention to the dropping out on the exhale. No right or wrong, no forcing or changing anything here, just paying attention. Expansion underneath your hands, and exhale down. Releasing the tension, letting it dissipate. And continuing here, breathing in. And breathing out. Just finding a cadence, a pace that feels natural, organic in your body. With each breath, letting residual tension in the body and the mind dissipate. The mind may be freaking out a little bit, scanning your to-do list, feeling like you don't have time for this, feeling like there's something more important that your attention should be directed to. And these are just remnants of a chronically on stress response system. The body is scanning for the next potential threat. So if you're noticing this, just let it be okay. Bring some compassion to your mind. And maybe even say something like, "Thank you for your support, mind. Thank you for looking out for me. But for right now, I'm just going to breathe." And if you need a more constant anchor to keep the mind in the present moment, a really simple one to start with is just on the inhale, mentally repeating to yourself, "I am breathing in." And as you exhale, "I am breathing out." And in this way, you give the mind something else to focus on. You let it fully participate in the process. Great. And as we begin to close out this practice, I would love for you just to bring your attention to the hand that's on the low belly. As you inhale, see if you can focus or intention to allow that space to really fill up with air, not in a forceful way, but just in a natural way, letting it fill up on the end of the inhale, and then drawing back in toward the spine on the exhale. Inhaling from the space take up space to fill up with nourishing breath, sending it out to every cell in your body. And exhale. Taking one more deep breath in. And releasing it with a sigh. Great. And if your eyes were closed during this process, you can slowly blink them open. Allow your arms to drop down and just take a moment to check in and notice how your body, how your mind, how your energy feel. It's common at first for it to feel fairly uncomfortable if being still is a new practice for you, and I can totally relate to that. My mind at first was going rapid fire, and I was like, oh my gosh, I cannot do this. I am not a breather. I'm not a meditator. I'm a doer. And that was just a story that I had to rewrite. And as I began to practice little by little, a couple of minutes every day, my body began to ease into it. My mind began to realize, oh, okay, we're not in crisis right now. It is okay to calm down. It is okay to be still and just be. So what I would encourage you to do is to jot down anything that came up, how the process felt for you. Just take a couple of minutes to reflect on that. And then carve out a regular space and time for yourself to practice 3 minutes of breathing. That might be first thing in the morning for you, getting up 5 minutes earlier and allowing yourself to do some breathing and then reflecting. Or maybe it's something that you do 5 minutes before you go to bed. Or maybe it's something you do on your lunch hour. But find a space and time that feels best for you, that doesn't feel like a big stretch or too stressful to incorporate. And then just practice consistently and see how you feel. Give it 2 weeks and see if you notice any differences. And that's it for now. That's diaphragmatic breathing, just a very basic practice in a nutshell. And if you like this practice and you would love to learn more about deep breathing and stress reduction techniques, please like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. And in your comments below, share what you would love to learn more about, or if there's certain techniques that you're interested in learning more about, I would love to share them with you. Hoping that this serves you, hoping that you can take a deep exhale and allow the nervous system to move into that rest and digest state. Bye for now.